Hello and welcome to a game called Trick and Treat. I really don't know anything about it. I don't know a whole lot about it, so I'm just gonna launch right into it. The sounds of our steps combined with that of the occasional nocturnal animal is the only thing we can hear. It's terribly dark in this place. The dense vegetation makes it impossible to see the sky or light from the moon. Our flashlights are the only things that light up our way. At times like this, one begs to not run out of battery. We walk without knowing what we are really looking for, or better said, for no reason. We are just a group of boys bored with our lives, trying to create a lasting memory on this night instead of just staying home, doing nothing. Today is October 31st. All Hallows Eve, better known as Halloween. 3 young men walked through a dark, but up till now nothing special forest, me being one of them. We are doing it to prove our courage. It's too bad there isn't a girl here to see how brave we are. Seeing it like that, one could say this is a meaningless effort. For a moment, I stopped to look at my watch. It's 1:49 a.m.? Jesus. That means we've been walking aimlessly for more than 2 hours now. I'm sure that many people would find a place like this terrifying. But once you get used to it, the fear disappears, making it feel like normal. What makes us afraid of the dark is that we cannot know what hides in it, what lurks in the shadows. But this is clearly an empty darkness. At that moment, I sigh, feeling how tired my legs are. What is the point of being here? Clearly, we've already had demonstrated what we wanted. It would be best to return, I should tell them. I was about to speak when suddenly the atmosphere in the forest becomes strained. A cold chill runs through my body. It was like any other chill, except it was not going away. For no reason, the air's temperature dropped from one second to the other. So much, my breath becomes visible, turning into mist. It doesn't end there. The air is now filled with a rotten smell, just a little short from being unbearable. Images of worms and flies soon appear in my mind, giving me a really unpleasant feeling. We all stop at that moment. Axel, what's happening? I asked, confused while turning to look at my friends. By the expression on their faces, it was easy to know that they were just as lost as I was. It was then that we heard footsteps nearby that did not come from any of us. We all got dead quiet after that. I don't know if it was out of fear or to check if it was not a mistake, but we stayed motionless, like statues without making a noise. Just looking at each other's faces, wondering the same thing. What was happening? As if I could know. We heard the steps again. They clearly belong to a human, or at least to a large animal, but there is something strange about them. It sounds as if the person walked, dragging one foot. Just thinking about it made me shiver. Damn! Why is this happening? It makes no sense. We should have returned home before, but now it's too late to regret it. I have the feeling that we are being stalked by someone. The strange footsteps stop, but I'm still feeling the presence nearby. I don't know where it is, but I know that it's looking at me. The cursed thing is looking at me. My heart is beating anxiously. It's almost as if my body was telling me to get out of there. But strangely, my friends seemed unable to perceive it. It seems that it's gone. It must have just been an animal. Said one of them, convinced like we were safe. I would like to believe that too. We had a sigh of relief, however bad luck would soon strike us again. Unexpectedly, the forest became darker than before in just the blink of an eye. But that wasn't the fault of the forest, but of our own flashlights, which went out. Of course, of the 3, only one, mine, was still working. What's going on? Did the batteries die? Asked one of them, scared while they both beat them desperately as if that was going to revive them. The idea of walking in the darkness was not pleasant for anyone. But after a few moments, we had no choice but to resign ourselves to that. Once more, the sound of our footsteps was heard. The silence is different somehow. We're not quiet because we have nothing to say, but because we are afraid. One of you should have brought a weapon. We continue walking despite the fear that invades us. Visibility is almost zero, but we have no choice. In theory, we're walking back looking for the exit, but I can't remember anything of this damn forest. We could be walking in circles and I'd never notice until it's too late. I hate the thought of it. I just want to get out of here. Suddenly, my thoughts are silenced. We hear the footsteps of someone or something. Once more, the three of us become statues awaiting the presence to go. I hold my breath while feeling my heart beating anxiously. Damn, get away from here and leave us alone! Unexpectedly, the steps are heard closer. This time they do not disappear, but rather come at us. I can't stand it. Desperately, I'm moving my flashlight everywhere, looking for the author of those footsteps, hoping for the light to reveal their identity and erase our fears. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Is that all there is around here? Just empty air? My anxiety grows with each failed attempt. I refuse to believe that it was a ghost. Suddenly, when I move the flashlight again, I see a silhouette. I could not distinguish what it was, but for a moment, the light revealed something. Quickly, I point to the same place, only to discover it was gone. I hold my breath anxiously. It was not an illusion. I am sure I saw something. It was then that I hear something nearby. Without even thinking, I aim the light. What I found leaves us paralyzed with an expression of disbelief on our faces. It's a white cat with eyes of intense red which stood before us. Her look is not the friendliest, to say something. Somehow, I get the feeling it's a female cat. Suddenly, she lets out a thunderous meow that leaves us terrified. It sounded more like a lion roaring than a simple cat. The echo of her meow is heard throughout the forest, making it more sinister than it should be. It was then that suddenly an inexplicable force hits us three. I fall to the ground, and little by little my eyelids close. The fatigue becomes unbearable. I lose consciousness on the ground with the force without knowing what was going to happen to me. Terrific. Great. Interlude before night falls. It's a day like any other, so normal that it was almost painful. The only special thing that could be said about it is that it's October 31st. Far were the memories when I was a kid and went out with my friends to ask for sweets from house to house. Just remembering it made me sigh. I feel nostalgic. Some things were better when I was a child. At least it seems like that. Bless you. There are some who had good costumes, whether of superheroes or monsters. I and my friends, on the other hand, had to use our imagination. Creativity was our costume, you could say. No matter how funny it could sound. I remember that my mother once painted my face red and told me, "You will be the devil." But it seems only she saw it that way. When we went from home to home, everyone said I was a tomato man. But those things didn't matter to me, since we always had a good time. If I asked for candy now, even if I had the best costume, I'm sure no one would have given me anything. Except perhaps some scolding for acting like a child when I was 17 years old. Hey, I know exactly how you feel. Anyways, I can't stay in the past. I must live in the present, no matter how exciting that isn't. Back to reality, we're a group of friends who don't have any plans for today. We're still not old enough to go to a disco, and I doubt guys like us would have any luck in that environment. The other option would be to go to a party, meet girls, and have fun. Everything perfect. Except that nobody has invited us. Not being popular has its disadvantages. I hear ya. Hey, Axel, let's have a couple of matches. What do you say? My friend Steven called my attention while playing with the game console. Rush Red. I believe that's what the game's called. A fast and complicated fighting game for me. I would normally agree to play with him, but for some reason, I don't feel in the mood today. I have no desire to play now. I reply with discouragement. I almost feel bad for doing it. Boring! The AI is no rival for me, Steven said with confidence. That you're playing on normal difficulty does not help your argument. I don't feel like losing, but if you want, you can challenge Alfred, I said, leading the attention towards my other friend. I don't know how to play that, answered Alfred, doubting for a second. He's sitting behind the PC, but seems that he isn't doing anything interesting. The screen only shows a lot of text. I think he's looking at Wikipedia. Hey, don't you have something more fun to do? I asked with discouragement without even thinking about what he was reading. Alfred looks at me surprised. The actual problem of society is that people are not interested in discovering their history. He's one of those pseudo-intellectuals, always looking for any rare information to appear smarter than others. When we forget our past mistakes, we are doomed to repeat them. He added later. What are you talking about? This village is small, and its story is not interesting at all. Nothing outside of normal has ever happened in it. Alfred laughs mockingly after hearing that. Your ignorance is worthy of praise. He pauses, filling his chest with pride. The very fact that it's a small town is the reason it's full of mysteries. Did you know that 20 years ago, on this date, a man disappeared? So, what about it? I asked without being impressed or even interested in the least. Things like that happen all the time in all places. As I thought, you don't know the history despite living in this very place, Alfred said while adjusting his glasses in an arrogant gesture. There is a legend behind the disappearance. That is what I was reading. After listening to him, I looked back at the computer screen with curiosity. It's then that I noticed it was not Wikipedia, but some other page. Come on, read this and learn a little. Alfred said, inviting us to read what was on the screen. Both Stephen and I moved closer to read it. The town of Abingdon, Oxford Country, 1994. I came to this town with only 4,000 inhabitants to support them in an investigation. Truth is that never in my life have I seen something so strange. I won't say your typical detectivist nonsense, that I have seen thousands of strange things in my life. I've seen many crimes, yes, some difficult to solve, but all of them were human. Even if you don't know how they managed to perpetrate the crime, you know that they are people like anyone else. In this case, I don't think I'm able to say the same thing. Truth is that I can't understand what happened. I was called for the disappearance of a man named Matthew Graham, 23 years old, single. The last time he was seen was returning home from a Halloween party. He had drank alcohol, but at least that's what witnesses said. Anyways, this is not something which can be explained with a simple drunkenness. He apparently got lost on the way home and decided to enter the forest called Oakwood. It had rained yesterday, so the ground was wet and muddy. We could easily find his traces, which were leading deep inside the forest. Apparently, he walked for 3 hours before stopping. I say stop, but the truth is, we don't know what happened then. The tracks suddenly ended up in a clearing in the forest. And that's all. There was no evidence of struggle, no other trace, or pieces of clothing on the ground. There was no blood, no more footprints, anything else. The depth of his last footprints and the position they were in indicated that he was still walking. At no point he stood still. It was as if he had vaporized into the air, with all of his clothes in the middle of his walk. Obviously, I can't believe such a thing, but I can't give another explanation. The only thing I remember is that near the footprints I sensed a faint smell of rot. However, there were no animal corpses nearby. It is ridiculous to think that he suddenly started to decay and became earth. In the end, the case was closed in just 3 days. With no evidence of any kind, we couldn't say anything but that he decided to escape from the village. However, while officially there was no more I could do, I just couldn't sleep in peace. Thinking about what could have happened to him took away my sleep. In my mind, I thought all sorts of theories. Like maybe everything was a plan developed by Matthew, but in the end, they all seemed impossible. I decided to investigate more on the issue. I searched the town for similar stories, and to my surprise, I found 4 more. All young men, the story was always the same. They walked into the forest alone, disappearing without trace. Even more curious is that all of them disappeared on the same date, October 31st. But there is more. A detail that completely eliminates the possibility that there is a killer or a kidnapper behind this. Why? And that is the separation of years. Roger Bacon disappeared in 1924. Mitchell Smith disappeared in 1867. Jason Black disappeared in 1813. And the worst of all, Oswald Taylor disappeared in 1707. It simply couldn't be possible. My curiosity led me to dig deeper. I thought that the answer may be in the past of the forest. It was then that I discovered what seemed to be a simple and boring forest actually had a great story. Before it was called Oakwood, or Oaks Forest, the place was called Leekwood. The word week has huge similarity with witch, taking into consideration that it is an old name and language changes over time. That indicates that it was the forest of the witches. Apparently, more than 400 years ago, the people of the village believed witches lived in the woods. Unfortunately, almost all the information is already lost. There were stories told in voice, without a properly written record. I just know that with the change of religion to Christian, people stopped seeing the witches with good eyes and began to hunt them. Apparently, the last woman before her death cast a curse on the forest, which even today should continue to exist. Anyway, obviously I cannot accept something like that as the answer. In the end, I have no other choice than accepting that each one of them escaped from the village, using the legend of the forest to make it look like it was something supernatural. My theory? Aliens. Interesting story. I didn't know that such a story was hiding in this town. I said honestly surprised. Even if it is a lie, it managed to hold my interest. Wait, there's something more. Alfred said, at the same time he scrolls to the comments. We read what is written there. A couple of comments call our attention. Both of them talk about some creature. At that time, they felt a horrible fear for what could happen to them. Well, the two comments share great similarities, but they could have been written by the same person. There are many others that deny it. Looks like many people went to the forest because of the legend, but couldn't find anything. I thought that you only read these things to look more cool before the girls, replied Stephen as a joke. Alfred giggles with a little shame. Partly yes, he admitted it. That was a secret everybody silently knew. Well, now we have an activity for tonight. Stephen said at the same time he makes a face overflowing with enthusiasm. What? I asked, completely lost. I thought we were just killing time. Simple, let's go to that forest, Stephen replied without hesitation. As a group, for the love of God, take a weapon with you. He seemed really fascinated by the story. Are you insane? Said Alfred, unable to believe what he had just heard. You only needed to look at his face to know that he did not like the idea. Despite everything you've heard, you still want to go? Of course, it would be a test of courage among us three, replied Stephen, full of confidence. Perhaps too much. He should relax a bit. Don't tell me you're afraid. No, why should I be afraid? Answered Alfred. At the same time, he folds his arms, making a false gesture of security. It's more than obvious that you are afraid, Alfred. Almost as much as when you have to talk with a girl. And what about you, Axel? Don't tell me you won't come. Suddenly, Stephen asked me, at the same time looking at me mockingly. Don't tell me that you want to be the chicken of the group. I hate that tone of voice he used. I will never give you that, I said without thinking, showing a confident smile and look. Well, let's not say more. Take your coats, backpacks, flashlights, and some food. We are going to that forest, Stephen said, full of energy. Yeah! We three said in unison as if we were going to have some kind of private party, not really knowing what we were doing or what we were going to find. Basically prepare for it as if it's a backpacking trip, because God knows what could happen. Anyways, 2:13 a.m. I awake, completely confused, not knowing how much time had passed. My head hurts like hell, but I can't blame it. Fortunately, the pain goes away as quickly as my confusion. Soon I come back to my senses. My flashlight is lying on the ground, shining towards the empty air. I immediately pick it up. It was my only protection against the darkness that surrounds me. Then I remember that Stephen and Alfred were with me. Stephen! Alfred! Can you hear me? What the hell? Without thinking, I screamed their names in the dark while trying to find them with my flashlight, but there is no trace of them. They are gone. Where the hell are they? What the hell just happened? I really don't understand anything. Shit, we should have stayed at home. This is not a proof of courage. We could be in danger. I have to find them. This is why you have radios, in case you all get separated. 2:19 a.m. Little time has passed since I started to look for my friends. And I already can't stand this place. I'm going crazy in the forest. The darkness that covers it is unnatural. It is a darkness that steals your own sanity, replacing it with anxiety. To make it worse, the air is damp and cold as in winter, carrying a strong rot smell. as if there are corpses of animals hidden throughout the forest. The atmosphere in this place is oppressive. With every step you take, it makes you feel more uncomfortable. Since I started to look for my friends, I felt that something is watching me, but there is nothing. I sigh with my voice full of frustration. I just want to get out of here. I continue walking devoid of any hope. No matter where I look or how much I walk, I find nothing. I cannot even hear the sounds of animals. Rather, it seems they are already dead and rotting. No, I have to calm myself, I said to myself. I stopped for a moment to rest. I breathed deeply, but the rotten air of this place does me no good. Immediately, I start to cough as if something had stuck in the throat. Shit! What am I going to do? This cursed forest seems endless. And even if by miracle I could escape, I cannot abandon Stephen and Alfred. I'm really screwed up. Don't you mean Fuck. Again, I sigh, feeling on the verge of tears. My frustration is building up, but I have to do my best to keep calm. If I fall in despair, there is no doubt I will be joining the list of missing persons. In the end, I decided to keep walking. Step by step, I should get somewhere. At least I was convinced that staying in the same place would not do me any good. You also should have had a rescue whistle. Even if it was only to deceive myself, feeling that I am doing something, I wanted to continue walking. Time passes without any changes, and a compass. Only the sound of my footsteps can be heard. Knowing that as soon as you stop, you'll be surrounded by a dead silence, a good incentive to keep walking. But my legs were already hurting. Suddenly, I hear a crack at my feet. Instantly, I take a step back and look below to see what made that sound. What is this? I whispered to myself, surprised discovering that I had stepped on an animal bone. I believe that is from an animal, although that I do not rule out the possibility that it belongs to a person. But for my own good, I prefer to not think about that. Agree. An expression of anguish is drawn on my face. It is best to ignore it. I just have to keep walking. Suddenly, my flashlight reveals something. Without hesitation, I point it towards there again. Aw, kitty! Only to realize with the surprise that is the white cat. The one from before which made that awful meow, but this time I find it lying on the ground. It appears to be fainted and is wounded. Then what should I do? Oh my god, no. Pick it up. It is best to continue without waking her. The cat is dangerous, and it's her fault I ended up in this place and my friends are missing. But even knowing that, for some reason, I can't help but feel sorry for her. Even if it's unnatural, it's still an animal. I then bend down to see her closer. She's unconscious, and there's a thin line of blood coming from her mouth. Aww. I'm a real idiot, I said to myself at the same time I cleaned the blood from her mouth with the handkerchief I had with me. Fortunately, she doesn't wake up. I then close her mouth, making her appearance a little better. Now she seemed to be peacefully sleeping. Is it breathing? After a long sigh, I decide to pick her up carefully. I don't know what the powers of this cat are, but if she brought me here, maybe she can return me to my world. With her in my arms, I decide the best thing I can do is keep walking. 2:31 a.m. Hi! Again, I find myself in the dark forest walking aimlessly, only moving forward, but it didn't seem like I was getting anywhere. In my arms, I carried a cat which sleeps soundly. Come here, you'll be safe. I suddenly stopped. It was probably easy to see the disbelief on my face at that moment. It's that voice again, I whispered to myself with no one to listen to me. Shortly after I found the cat, a mysterious voice appeared in my mind. It is a feminine voice, soft and gentle, as if it belonged to a princess from a fairy tale, but I can't trust it. Am I going crazy, or is this the forest that doesn't make any sense? I don't know, but I don't like any of the options. I then feel the cat move in my arms. I look down at her confused, just to see how she opens her red eyes suddenly. I become quiet at that instant. For the moment, the two stayed motionless, staring into the eyes of each other. The red eyes of the cat are disturbing to me, but there is also something fascinating about them, something that attracts me. I lose myself in her eyes as if hypnotized. Until suddenly she jumps with the intention of scratching my face. What is that? What a bitch! Asshole. My reflex is pushing her at the same time I jump back, turning my head to dodge her claws. I manage to dodge her attack, but in the process I drop my flashlight. I panic and acted clumsily. The flashlight falls near me, lighting up a tree in the vicinity. As soon as it left my hands, I remember how dense this abnormal darkness is. I quickly pick it up, not even thinking before taking action. I then light up the place where the cat was, only to discover that she had arched her body angrily as if she feared an attack from me. Those red eyes stare at me, shining with the light of a flashlight as if they were jewels, reflecting a fearsome hatred and rejection towards me. My body freezes after seeing them. I can't even think. The cat lets out a thunderous meow similar to the one before, but weaker, although not any less frightening. There's no doubt that something is wrong with that animal. It must be cursed. Everything is her fault. She must be some kind of evil spirit, a pet of the witches. I feel how panic seizes me. My heart beats quickly as if begging me to do something. My mouth is dry and my forehead covered with cold sweat. What should I do? I have honestly no clue. I'm gonna confront the cat. This cat. No, I should not despair. I have to calm down and think carefully about what I should do. With that in mind, I take a deep breath and look again at her. Soon the expression in my eyes changes from fear to courage. I realize that it's only a cat, without a doubt a strange one, but my life is not actually in danger. That it isn't a tiger staring at me, but a simple cat. Apparently her only power are those weird meows. If she could kill me now, she would have already done it. So I rule out that possibility. Her work must be transporting the next victim to this area of the forest. So unnatural and shady. After filling my lungs with air, I slowly walk towards the cat. Her meow gets louder with every step, but I don't let them scare me. Seeing that I do not turn back, she shyly takes a step back. In my mind, I smiled at that image. The prey is now the hunter. I look at her directly while advancing. Little by little, her meows become weaker, as if she was losing strength. Then I suddenly jump and take her in my hands. She hardly resists at all. Not so tough now. You look better like this. She is trembling in my hands. Oh, kitty. She looks so helpless that I almost feel like a villain. But I must not forget all that she has done so far. It's her fault that I'm in this place. She brought me here. Then if I kill her, would it be possible to go back? For a moment, that grim idea crossed my mind. I'd never killed an animal. Truth is that I can't be proud of myself in doing such a thing. But if I do this, maybe this legend could end here and now. Then what should I do? No! It's only logical the magic should die along with the cat. That should be my ticket back. If I kill her, everything will be over tonight and the legend will come to an end. Confident that it was for the best, I try to view it in my mind. But no matter how hard I force myself to see it, in the end, I'm unable to take the life of another living being. Even if it is a cursed cat serving a witch, I don't feel good killing her. I think I'm too nice for my own good. Yeah, I agree. So the only thing that remains is to keep her here with me, hoping that sooner or later she allows me to escape. With nothing more to think about, I decided the best thing to do is continue my path. 2:41 a.m. It's been a few minutes since I captured the cat. Again, I find myself walking with her in my arms, led by the strange horse. How long have I been walking in this forest? Apparently not enough to make me go mad, but it should be close. Don't be afraid. Come with me. I'll help you. The voice sounds closer this time. It seems I'm going in the right direction. I don't fully trust it, but it's the best I have. At least at first glance, it seems a friendly voice. I'm completely focused on my way when suddenly I feel something bite me. Ow. Arg, what the hell? I shout in pain, realizing the cat bit my arm. Fortunately, it wasn't a dangerous bite, but it sure was painful. Asshole. With my distraction, she takes the chance to jump from my arms, falling a few steps away from me. Quickly, I set my gaze upon her, furious, but soon something happens that makes me forget about my anger. Suddenly, the cat is covered with a bright light, so much that it repels the unnatural darkness surrounding the forest, stealing my breath. Under the light, its figure gradually changes until it ceases to be a cat and becomes a human figure. Is it evolving? Hi! No longer is there a cat in front of me, but a girl with incredible beauty. I must really be going crazy. Yup. She has white hair and red eyes. She seems about my age. In other circumstances, I would have asked her out without hesitation. Just thinking about it makes me laugh to myself in my mind. Even at the edges of madness, it seems some things about me will never change. approaches slowly toward me, one step at a time with no fear. The girl then stares into my eyes with a slightly irritated face. Her lips are moving. She seems to be saying something, but I am unable to hear her sound. Are you trying to tell me something? I babbled, still confused with the face of disbelief that surely made me look stupid. 2, said the girl with a very low voice. I did not understand what she was saying. What? I'm sorry. I can't hear you very well. Please speak up, I asked, still confused. Suddenly the girl pouts in a bad mood. What's wrong with you? Are you deaf? Finally I could hear her clear. Oh, and just in time because it seems her patience was about to end. Okay, now I heard you, I said, annoyed. All of my astonishment from just a few seconds ago disappears when I see her arrogant attitude. At least now I don't think she'll bite me. I hope. The girl then snorts with irritation. What an annoying guy I had to find, she said at the same time she placed her hand on her lips, making a pensive face. Wait, you shouldn't speak ill of someone you have right before you, I was quick to respond. For a moment I feel annoyed at the thought I have to teach manners to this spirit or whatever she is. A pity so much beauty was wasted on someone so arrogant. The girl let out a snort of annoyance after hearing me. I'm sorry, it's a bad habit that I can't quit, she answered without sounding very repentant, clearly a false apology. After talking, she diverts her gaze towards the surroundings as if she was bored. I see, I replied annoyed. I just met her and I already feel I don't like her. But anyways, it doesn't matter. I must not forget who this girl is. She was the cat that started it all. Anyways, could you at least tell me why you attacked me and my friends? I asked shortly after, acting more serious. The greetings were over. It's time to get to the important stuff. And why did you bite me if I wasn't doing anything? Before I knew, my lips moved, asking another question. I cannot lie, I was angry. The girl then stares at my face. She blinks with that curiosity before speaking. Does it hurt? The wound? She asked instantly. Yes. I was quick to respond with annoyance. I didn't need to say that. Of course it hurts me, silly cat. She looks at me in silence for a few seconds until suddenly she approaches me without any shyness or fear. On second thought, how could a simple human but me scare a cat that can turn into a person? Show me your wound, said the girl, one she stood right next to me. The presence makes me nervous. This girl seems to not know what personal space is. As embarrassing as it sounds, I had never had a girl this close, if only it wasn't in this force. I don't know why I shouldn't trust her, but strangely, something tells me she has no bad intention. The girl is surrounded by a calm aura, something pure, unlike anything else in the forest. In the end, resigning myself with a sigh, I show her my arm with a bite. Immediately, the girl sets her sight on my wound. It will only take a moment, she said with complete confidence. Then she looks up into my eyes. Could you close your eyes? She asks as she blushes slightly. I'm surprised to see that embarrassed face she has, even if just a little. Then I sigh, feeling something wasn't right, but there's nothing else I can do. Okay, I said, doing as she asked. I didn't know what to expect. For a moment, I thought she would get naked or something. But what kind of magic can work only when you have no clothes? I don't know, but my mind sure wanted to imagine that. You're undressed there in your mind, you know that. Come on, Axel, keep your composure. Suddenly I feel something warm and wet touch my wound. Immediately I shudder. Wait, what are you doing? It's a stupid question because I knew well what she was doing. She was licking my wound. The idiot who said you could watch was quick to respond. The cat, with her cheeks red in embarrassment and her lips still close to my wound, she looked adorably troubled. Don't you see that I'm just trying to heal you? She then added in a bad mood. Sorry, I said, blushing. I thought you would do something more extraordinary. Now I'm not sure. Is she a girl who can transform into a cat, or a cat that can become a girl? Sorry to disappoint you, not being extraordinary enough, murmured the girl at the same time she gave me an annoyed look. Red eyes shining with disgust. It is then that I realize the pain has disappeared. With curiosity, I look where the wound was, only to discover that there's no trace of it. For a couple of seconds I stay silently incredulous. It seems your treatment worked, I finally said, grateful, still looking at the spot. But of course, I have experience healing myself, answered the girl, closing her eyes and inflating her chest to show her pride. I actually appreciate what she did, but I still wonder if she really had to lick me to cure her. I understand, but who are you? The girl makes a small snort with curiosity after hearing my question. Then she tilts her head and closes her eyes, making a thoughtful face. It seems as if I'd not introduced myself. She opens her eyes and gazes into mine. My name is Ashley. So that's her name. I expected something more extravagant. My name is Axel. By the way, have you ever been accused of witchcraft? Before I knew it, I asked that question. I guess it was rather rude and completely lacking in it. But I must not forget for even a second that I'm in this cursed forest. Ashley suddenly becomes silent. A plain sight it was obvious she didn't take it. She takes her time before responding. Yes, but that was a long time ago. Then she closed her eyes and exhales, emptying her lungs. She seemed to be recalling something painful. Just seeing her made me feel guilty. I'm sorry, it was not my intention to make you remember, I said, slightly remorseful. No doubt, to be accused of witchcraft must have been a horrible experience. Ashley closes her eyes and nods a couple of times. It's okay, it's not like I can blame your curiosity seeing where we are. Then she looks at me closely with curious eyes. By the way, how do you know about me? Perhaps you're a sorcerer who has lived during these past centuries? She asked, narrowing her eyes as if she was trying to see the inside of my mind. What kind of question is that? No, nothing like that, I answered at the moment. Just an ordinary person. I omitted boring, but she didn't need to know that. Just that there are stories about witches in this forest. As you can see, the stories are not very convincing, or else I wouldn't be here. I explained, trying to remove any doubt that Ashley may have. Again, she closes her eyes and nods. I understand. She pauses and looks me in the eyes. It's because of those stupid myths that stupid humans come to this forest, just like you. She then said, looking at me with rejection. Wait, what are you trying to say? We are to blame? I replied, feeling offended. Ashley suddenly looks at me disgusted. Are you an idiot? Yes. If you hadn't come, my existence would be nice and peaceful instead of this chaos that it is every year, she said, ending with a sigh of frustration. But you're the one who causes all of this. I was quick to respond. I don't even bother to hide my anger. I can't believe what she says. How arrogant can she be? Ashley opens her eyes, surprised. Then she looks at me with annoyance in her eyes. Do you not understand? Stupid woman. Definitely I don't like this girl. She seems alright. I'm only trying to protect you. Her words take me by surprise. Huh? I exclaimed incredulously. You attacked me and attacked my friends, only to protect us? See, she simply replied. When did she simply replied. At the same time, she nods, filled with pride and confidence. Okay, that's it. I'm getting out of here. No, stay, damn it. I cannot believe how arrogant and self-centered this girl is. After everything she did to me and my friends, I can't stand her any longer. Damn it, stay. Wait! I had only taken a few steps when I heard her calling me. She sounds really worried. You don't understand the real danger you're in here. I stop in my tracks as soon as I hear that. Real danger? I whispered, feeling some doubts. Suddenly, I shiver. It doesn't look like she's lying. Yes, I try to chase them away using illusions. Other times, I hit them with my powers. And as a last resort, I scare them directly, as was in your case. Ashley confessed, blushing a little, as if she felt embarrassed of remembering. And why did you do that? I asked, confused. Something right here. Ashley stares at me with her red eyes. If they continue with their curiosity, they will meet an evil entity that will take their lives. What you say doesn't sound very convincing. I immediately interrupted. The only evil entity here is you. You asshole! Don't be rude. Ashley shakes her head in denial. You are wrong. I am the good one. Then she said, looking into my eyes with a pure innocence in hers. Ha ha ha. I could only laugh at that comment. It had to be a joke. After doing all that, you say you're good? Don't laugh. I'm only trying to protect you, replied Ashley, furious while waving her arms. She then crosses her arms and gives me an unpleased look. Do you expect me to believe that? I replied sarcastically. What she said made no sense, but somehow she seemed oddly convinced it was the truth. She was surely a bit wrong in the head. But it's true, you have to believe me. This time she sounded really worried about me. I actually feel sorry for her. Ashley then stays silent, looking at me with puppy dog eyes. However, she soon recovers her proud attitude. If you want to hold my hand, I won't harm you. Do it, she suddenly says. I look carefully at her. She has a very arrogant face, as if it was a great honor to be able to touch her. You won't do anything strange? I asked, distrustful, but after seeing her again, I don't think she was lying. Ashley nods, full of confidence. Do it. I promise you. I stare at her for a few seconds, making sure there isn't a trap. Okay, but why do you want me to hold your hand? I ask at the same time as I extend my hand. Ashley opens her eyes, surprised after hearing my question, then stares at me with annoyance. Are you stupid? Obviously to guide you out of the forest, she said just as she takes my hand in one quick move. I then find myself being dragged by this strange girl. But this is opposite the way from where the melodious voice comes, I said, looking back for a second. I felt really curious about who she was. You ignore that voice. It charms men to make them her victims. So it's a siren. Think of it, yeah, as a siren. Ashley explained in a bad mood with her eyes always looking to the front. It seemed she didn't get along well with whoever that person or entity was. Wouldn't she be the one who collects souls of fools? I asked without thinking. I seriously need more experience when dealing with a current. If only I were more popular. Ashley stopped suddenly. She then turns up to me, showing a furious face. You idiot! I already said I'm good! For a moment, I thought she was going to hit me on the head. But fortunately, she stopped before doing so, or biting me again. Yeah, that'd be weird, but... Okay, okay! I meekly responded as if I were a scolded child. But if you eat me, I'll make sure to give you the worst indigestion of your life. You idiot, I don't eat humans, replied Ashley, ending with an arrogant snort. 311, dear God. Well, I'm gonna leave this episode here. That was Trick and Treat. Well, part of it. I like that so far. Hope you did too. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.